What's up? This is Tom Froming from Twins Daily and the Twins Prospect Handbook, which is available now. I will put links down in the description. And we are rolling through my prospect list for this upcoming season. We're going to roll through numbers 20 through 11. So getting into some more familiar territory, some more familiar names. Let's get right into it. So as you can see here, I've got Gilberto Celestino at 20. I'm a little bit lower on him than a lot of people, but it's tough. A lot of these guys are pretty close in this range of the Twins list. And I actually just uploaded a video of highlights of his. Some really fun stuff to watch, in particular that he did in the field. So check that out. And, if you want more Twins talk, more Twins prospect talk, more Twins prospect highlights, subscribe to the channel for that. But Celestino, I don't think he's quite developed physically as much as certainly the Astros thought when they first signed him internationally. Twins picked him up in a trade. However, his athleticism is excellent. He's a legit center fielder, and you can see the 9.3 walk percentage. That shows he knows what he's in. 15.9 K percentage, very reasonable as well. So he knows what he's doing in the batter's box. His swing has got a big leg kick, almost Royce Lewis-like leg kick, or it's kind of an up and over. So I'm not sure if that's going to work out either. So that's why I'm a little bit lower on him than some people, but the upside is certainly tantalizing. And you could say a lot of those same things in general about Cole Sands. This is a guy the Twins picked in the 5th round of the 2018 draft, but decided to not have him make his pro debut. So this was his pro debut in 2019. You can see the numbers he posted there. Very impressive. And, it's huge that he went out and he threw 97 innings, just building up that arm strength. K percentage of 28.2 against a 5 walk percentage. Very impressive. Pitched at 3 different levels, as you can see there. So Sands is a guy who really established himself in 2019. At number 18, this is a guy that's very familiar to Twins prospect hounds. Jose Miranda, he's been on kind of this section of these lists for quite a while now. But you can see he's still only 21. And, we're talking a lot about K percentage and walk percentage with these first few guys. But check that out. Miranda only had an 11.2 K percentage last year. And this is a guy who certainly looks physically like he should be able to develop power. Hitting in the Florida State League is very difficult. But this guy ended his season playing for Pensacola in Double-A in the playoffs and had a 955 OPS in 5 playoff games for Pensacola. So I'm interested to see how he does moving up to Double-A this year. Speaking of that move, Travis Blankenhorn, whose numbers didn't look all that impressive in Fort Myers, recently went through that transition of bumping up to Pensacola, up to Double-A, and suddenly his power came back. Weird. So, Miranda may make that same jump. We saw with Blankenhorn, his overall numbers aren't quite as eye-popping as he was posting in his first few months with Pensacola. He had an injury down the stretch, and then when he came back, he didn't quite perform as well. But this is a guy, very athletic, big second baseman. He's played some third base, some left field. Definitely has power. He was the 2018 Florida State League Home Run Derby champion. So he can knock it out of the ballpark. And he was added to the 40-man roster this offseason. So that's a pretty big deal. At number 16, I have Akil Baddoo. He's a guy, kind of falling out of the minds of probably a lot of people because he missed most of last season. He had Tommy John. Now, especially as Twins fans, we're familiar with position players going through that process. Miguel Sano had Tommy John when he was a prospect. Alex Kirilloff had Tommy John and came back and was like the minor league player of the year, essentially. So I'm not too scared off by that with Baddoo. It may, hurt his stock defensively if his arm strength isn't quite what it was. But this is a guy who's got speed, he's got power, he's got a great eye at the plate. So I'm excited for him. Don't forget about Akil Baddoo. All right, rolling along at number 15, Blayne Enlow. He is still only 20 years old. He continues to face more advanced competition than him. Doesn't have the greatest numbers. Those don't jump out to you. There's some guys lower on the list that have bigger numbers, but I think just watching him pitch, the way he carries himself, hardworking guy, his arsenal, he's going to break out. I think he's on the verge of a breakout. A lot of people are predicting that a lot more than I am. A lot of people have him higher than 15th. I kind of feel more comfortable with him there. But he had a nice improvement last year. His strikeouts per 9 jumped from 6.8 to 7.7. So that was nice to see. Another similar step forward. And this guy's really going to put himself up there. At number 14, I have 17-year-old Misael Urbina. Yes, he's that young. Big top free agent signing of the Twins. He had a very impressive performance with the Dominican Summer League Twins. And the things that I'm most encouraged by are that 382 on base percentage and the 10.6 walks percentage. There is no question about his athleticism. This guy's lightning fast. If he can develop, he's only 17, so the question on what kind of a guy he's going to be, what that body's going to do, we're not going to know for a while. But the speed is there. He's taking good plate appearances. That is a fantastic start. He could really rocket up this list and be among the Twins' top prospects within a year or two. At number 13 is a guy I'm just always high on, always much higher on than anybody else usually. Ben Rortvedt. I just think he's a catcher. I think this guy's going to have a really long career as a big league catcher. Even the backup guys are hard to find. And this guy throws well. This guy blocks well. The pitch framing doesn't get the best grades, but that might not even be a consideration a few years from now if there's an electronic strike zone. So, and you can see here the 10.9 walk percentage. That is excellent. And this is a big, physical, strong young man. So I think the power is going to come. Again, he's working his way up, spent most of the year in Double-A this year. So I'm really excited about him still. At number 12 is Matt Wallner. He was the number 39 overall pick of this most recent draft. Just a monster career at Southern Miss in college. 1.113 OPS for his career there as a 3-year starter, just mashed. And he kind of came out and was very impressive in the Twins system. He had 21 doubles and 8 home runs in just 65 games in his pro debut after he was done with his collegiate season. Struck out quite a bit, but walked some. Again, flexing his muscles. I also think this guy's going to be a really good right fielder. And then at number 11, a very familiar face, Lewis Thorpe. Didn't post the best looking numbers last year, but it's easy to get a little bit lost in the shuffle how crazy the AAA run scoring environment went. Thorpe had an 11.1 K per 9 during his time in Rochester. That was the best mark of anybody who had 90 plus innings pitched in AAA last year. So guys getting strikeouts. There's a little bit of inconsistency with Thorpe, not only in his performance, but also it's been weird to me to see his velocity kind of range from outing to outing. So hopefully, Wes Johnson and company can identify what's going on there, if it's a physical thing, if his delivery needs to get tweaked or whatever, to get that better consistency. I'm glad you enjoyed this video. Please leave a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing for more Twins prospect talk, and come back next week where we're talking about my top 10.